Alright, Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, L'Chakorash, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wa'akwath, learning, teaching, and truth and sincerity into the video through the Spirit. Your brother Malak from GMS Detroit. I'm having phone issues right now, so I'm not going to be uploading regularly these next couple days. The past couple days I wasn't able to get at it like how I prefer. But I got this video clip right here. It says you've been lied to about food prices. Now, for us, unless you've been living under a rock, the past couple of years, the cost of food has been, soaring. Things that used to cost $2, $3, $4, easily 6, 7, 8, 10, right? Prices doubling, sometimes tripling. And this isn't by mistake, and it's not because of any of these outbreaks or calamities that have happened recently the past couple of years. Long story short, in review of this video, Esau Edom is simply making the prices of goods go up at whim. He can give a false crisis and use that as a basis to declare essentially price gouging. That's essentially what he's going to go on to highlight in this video. I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll play some good chunks of it though. Fair use, right? I don't profit off of this video. This is journalism. But he highlights how, literally, y'all, they can declare fake crises. They can lie about supply chain issues, and that gives them the green light to raise the prices on our goods, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. And that's just the spirit of Esau Edom, y'all. Let me start with this scripture. Here it is. This guy has control of the world. He can all the technology you could imagine. He lives in all the best places in the world, yet the elite, still just keep squeezing the fucking blood force out of the less fortunate. Let's start with this out of Obadiah. The one verse I want to get right to, then we'll let the video play for a hot minute. Obadiah 1. I'm going to start right at verse 5. It says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the great gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? And it's a question being posed to Esau. This is the spirit that he has upon him, y'all. He's a gluttonous thief. A thief comes when you least expect it, but he takes certain items. Why? Because they're on a limited time. You can only carry so much. You only have so much time. Esau Edom takes everything. He spares nothing. He even takes your fucking peace of mind in this world, y'all. Even that shit comes with a price, dealing with him. So let's take a dive into why these food prices up. Is it really because, this pandemic or that or this or that? Is it because of, no. He just simply presses a button and makes you people pay more. How about that?
Eggs, milk, bread, ground beef, butter. Prices at the grocery store are going up, especially for people who spend a large amount of their income on food. So a little price shock can have huge effects. Grocery prices that usually go up 1 or 2% a year have started jumping to more like 13% a year.
Prices are going up yet again.
Sticker shock on store shelves.
You probably don't need to be reminded.
Now, of course, everyone's blaming COVID and broader inflation, and while those are a part of the explanation, there's actually something bigger going on here.
There's something bigger going on. The Rona Dona and inflation isn't the direct cause, y'all. Esau will use any excuse he can to squeeze a penny up out you.
Check this out. Food companies are bringing in record profits. CEOs of those companies are making way more just in the last few years, and shareholders are getting huge payouts. So, what is going on here? That is a question I have had for a long time, and we're sitting here in the kitchen, which is also our studio, and I thought, gotta use it sometime, so why not on the video about food? Today we're gonna understand our food system, the vast, complicated, kind of magical food system that provides a lot of us with our nourishment, bringing food from all around the world to our grocery store shelves. And then we're gonna look at the corporations behind this system. I wanna understand what their incentives are, what their power is, and what they have to do, if anything, with the rising prices. I also wanna understand why they're making so much money right now. And also,
So we're gonna fast forward, right? That's just the intro. We'll skip the supply chain part. Well, you know what? Let me see something actually. Let me see something.
then they actually need 8,000 years ago in what today is Syria and Iraq. You could find human
The Fertile Crescent. And notice he said 8,000. He didn't say 100 million. He didn't say 6 million. He said 8,000. Why is that? Going all the way back over there to the east, y'all. Come on.
It's doing something that was pretty unique for the time. They're growing food, and in fact more food than they actually needed, and then started trading it with other people who had more than they needed. Now this was new. If there was one group who lived...
So this is the ancient system, right? You had products over here. Let's say your part of the earth may have had corn. Somebody else, they had tea leaves, right? You trade amongst another. You set up routes and you develop trade. This is how we used to get down. Matter of fact, let me let this part play.
more and more massive scale, crossing seas and deserts, building empires, swap their goods, and both would be better off. A super basic idea that changed everything. Humans started doing this at a more and more massive scale, crossing seas and deserts, building empires to move goods, to share tools, to spread ideas. And the collective human focus became, how do we do this better?
The famous Silk Road, right? The collection of trade routes all throughout the ancient world, specifically the East. This was the old way of doing it, right? Now Esau Edom, with his technology, he's been able to monopolize this and speed up the process. So now it doesn't take 6 months, for you to be able to get some eggs. You can go down to the local store and get some damn eggs. But what have we lost with that convenience, y'all? We've lost autonomy. Things are more convenient, but now you have less power over your own food than ever. Was it a good trade? No, of course not.
They're bigger. We invented technology to improve it. We fought wars over it. We created money. Wrong, actually.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
It doesn't go through the same advanced global supply chain that other stuff does, right? Wrong, actually. This is a beautiful tomato that was grown here in my local area that I bought at a farmer's market. Full disclosure, did not buy this. My producer bought it and I am holding it now, and I will probably eat it with this bread and this coffee after I'm done shooting this video. Anyway, these are tomatoes that came from, but most of our tomatoes are riding in pickup truck. Here we are in very far away, not in, okay. Then we've got these.
Now, I wanted to highlight this part for a reason. Now, you see that more natural tomato that he had in his left hand, y'all? That's what a tomato is supposed to look like. But the tomato he's holding up on the screen now in his right hand, that's these GMO, excuse me, I was not saying potatoes, I meant to say tomatoes, excuse me. The bullshit that he's holding up in his hand now, perfectly round and smooth and circular, that's the shit that we've grown accustomed to because of this man's, manipulation. But the shit really isn't natural in all actuality. Just letting you see it further. That one in his left hand, it has ripples. It's shaped a little bit different compared to that son of a bitch in his right hand. That's crazy. So coming back to it, I'm gonna get some scriptures in a minute. I'm just let it play.
Something bigger going on here, and that gets to my second answer to the question of why grocery prices are more expensive. I'll just say it up front here, which is we've all been kind of tricked, and there are people making a lot of money off of us being tricked about prices.
Basically in COVID, I think there was kind of a reckoning of customers were pretty understanding when companies said, hey, you're going through hard times and so are we. Like, our costs are going up. There was kind of this reset. The American consumer has gotten so used to having a really cheap thing delivered to their door in like 2 hours, right? Like in Econ 101, they teach you about a supply and a demand curve, right? And as you increase prices, the number of units you sell goes down. And what you're trying to do is like maximize those two things. Like, I can sell as many products as I can make for as much as this, and like that's, you know, the price that you set. Right, yes. And so if you increase prices, you expect intuitively to sell a little bit less. Now you can like jigger it enough that like the total is a little bit higher. But what companies realize is they could inch prices up and see no or very little reduction in consumer demand. And so they kept doing it.
This will be clear very soon because there's a lot of examples of this, but
So the smart bitch is talking, but she just said it there towards the end. They've just been inching prices up, little by little, year by year, decade by decade now, to where, here it is, you have brothers and sisters who are older, right? Let's say a brother who's in their 50s. Y'all remember when, a bag of chips might have been 50 cents. Now a bag of chips is $3.50, right? He's just jacked the prices up. It's not a mystery. He just straight up jacked the prices up to make more money out of you. All right, and the people are going crazy in these comments right here, y'all. Right here, somebody says what? So the playbook is the crisis happens. Use it as a smoke screen to jack up prices. Blame inflation and supply chain issues. Enjoy record-breaking profits. And that's exactly what it is. Lie, jack up the price. This next comment, every time all you see is the store saying, due to XX reason, the price has increased by XX dollars, but after XX reason is over, the price never goes back down, precisely. So they've just been simply jacking the prices up with false events, if you will, right? False flag events. And they never go back down or stabilize. Sirach 34:21. The bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him thereof is a man of blood. Esau Edom knows this. Hey, what are it's in Sirach the 29th chapter? What does it tell you the chief things for life are, y'all? This is why Esau Edom plays with the food. Not only, is it he lessens the quality of the food, GMOs, to break down your body and your mental faculty, but he literally fucks with the prices because this doesn't allow you to, it strips the average person from having power. If you don't even control the food that you're eating, you're not going to be preoccupied with rising up against his wicked system. Right? You too busy trying to get a plate to eat. You ain't thinking about no revolution. You understand what I'm saying? One factor amongst many. If he controls all these different avenues of your life, you have no ability to rebel against him. Sirach 29 and 21. The chief thing for life is water, bread, and clothing, and a house to cover shame. Now ask yourself, not only in America, but throughout the world, well, I'll say in most first world countries or in countries ruled over by the Edomite beast empire, do you have control over your water? No. Do you have control over your food? No. Do you have control over your clothing and your housing? No. You are what? Subject to what? Let me get that. It shows that you're a what? Subject, let me just type it in. Damn it. If you don't control these basic components of your life, what does that make you? Baruch 3 and 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God. When you are subject to payments for the things that you need in your daily life, you are a slave. You are a captive. That is why you will never be able to get to fully get on top. As long as we're in this captivity, y'all, you're gonna just barely be afloat, just above water. the most of us, right? Hey, some of us, you know, the Lord got it set up to where, you know, some brothers is making a little bit more, doing a little bit better. And that's a blessing. And if you are one of those brothers, you know, it's your responsibility to be generous and to do right with that. Esau, Edom, he's a niggard. He has all the wealth, all the riches, all the power of the world. And what does he do? He fucks everybody over with it. And this is one of the big ways. And he doesn't just do this with food, y'all. You can apply this strategy to essentially everything. Cars, houses. He blames a false flag event to jack the prices up. This is why houses are more expensive than ever. Vehicles are more expensive than ever. The cell phones got more expensive. Remember, wasn't there, you had that shortage of that metal? I forget, it may have been cobalt, a specific metal that you have to use for your cell phones. That's highly reactive, right? Do y'all remember that shortage? So now cell phones, I remember when cell phones was 100, 150 bucks, 200 bucks. You got these daggone iPhones, 1,000, right? $1,200 for a fucking phone. Crazy. God damn it.
This will be clear very soon because there's a lot of examples of this, but the best one that is on my mind is eggs.
The egg price is out
So we're gonna fast forward a little bit.
of control.
Millions of hen.
What if I told you that most of what you've heard about debt relief is wrong? I used to believe a lot of this about debt relief.
And suddenly there was an outbreak of bird flu in all of...
So right, you know, they're saying there's an outbreak of bird flu, and they've been saying that fucking every year. So that's the reason why egg prices is going up. But that's not necessarily true, y'all. That's not true.
your farms. Like, U.S.'s biggest egg producers' profits triple as prices soar.
So stop right there. If there was truly a bird flu, and that this means all of your birds are dying. Let's use something like cow. Let's switch words so we don't get the video too down. If you were a cow herder, and you would sell things like beef from your cows and leather, you know, of their skin. Let's say if you had 100, if 80 of them dropped dead from some sort of illness, you're not going to be making buku money. You're about to lose some money because all of your product just died. So how is it that these companies, these rich families of Edomites are making multitudes, heaps, guwap, scoops of money? That defies logic, but it doesn't defy logic if you're fucking lying.
Like triple profits for the biggest egg producer. Oh, and if you look at the biggest egg producer's stock price, you see this. Right around the time when the avian flu is happening, their stock price is going nuts. Time to get out their annual report. Annual report for Cal-Maine Foods Egg Company. All of us are paid like more than double the price for a dozen of eggs. This is 2023, and it looks like its shareholders got paid $250 million in profits.
They're making hundreds of millions of dollars, y'all, while your life is getting harder.
Okay, it's right in the middle of the bird flu crisis. You wouldn't think that they would be profiting that much, but is that a lot? 250? Well, 2023 was a great year for the largest meat producer in the United States, despite like all of this avian flu. So in 2023, they paid $250 million. The year before, they paid $6 million. So they had a 40 times increase in the profits they paid out to their shareholders, right in the heart of when all of us were going to restaurants and seeing these signs, raising prices on eggs because there's a bird flu, so we have to pay more. But the company making the eggs is profiting a lot more money. It's not just revenue. It's not like they're making more money and their costs have increased a bunch, so they are profiting. They are making way more money after all of their costs, and we are all paying more. Oh, and this year, 2025, their profits are up 342%. This year. I mean, just to mic drop, like drive this home, let's put these two graphs next to each other. This one is the price for a dozen eggs. It's gone up a ton because of bird flu. And this one is profits per shareholder of Cal-Maine Foods.
So you see that graph is just going up and up and up. They're making guwap. They're making guapo, cake, cheddar, cheese, chicken, a grit, a knot, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's what they're making. While people's lives are just getting tighter and tighter and tighter. They're simply jacking the price up just because they can, and you have nowhere else to go to. This is capitalism is evil, right? We're raised up, you're brought up in this country. Esau, in America at least, they tell you communism is bad, fascism is bad. Well, capitalism is bad too, and that's not the answer to our problems. We need Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. The law tells us how we're supposed to deal. Are you supposed to lie and price gouge folk? No, you're supposed to deal honestly. Matter of fact, let me get that. You're supposed to deal honestly, and when it comes to purchases and money, right? Goods. Yep. Leviticus 19 and 36. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. These are different measurements of money in our culture, right? Shekel, hin, ephah, bath, the equivalent to what you'll go in today's time, pennies, nickels, dimes, dollars, shit like that, right? It's supposed to be just, meaning proper. You don't, this is why, you look at how the Roman Empire fell. One of the things they started doing was putting different metals into their coinage, which in the ancient times, you would weigh money. You didn't just take it out of somebody's hand, you weighed it on a scale. That way you knew it was true silver. 10 pounds of silver, 10 real silver pounds is supposed to tip the scale to a particular degree. If a nigga hands you 10 coins and he says it's silver, but it's coming up light, that means he's lying. It's an unjust balance, it's an unjust weight. This is how Esau deals in his system. He's siphoning more and more money out of you while giving you less quality items, less of the item size itself, and making you pay for it. That's a 3-punch combo. It's just a recipe for chaos, this bubble's gonna pop. It can't last too much longer.
Cal-Maine Foods going up at the same time. So these graphs tell a story of a company that was able to raise prices more than what they needed to cover their costs, and they were somehow able to do that. Can we just look at the supply of eggs in the United States? Just real quick. This graph, there's the price. Price goes up here, right? Now let's draw on the number of eggs produced in the United States during this time. Here's the outbreak of the avian flu, early 2023. Now I'm going to draw on the number of eggs produced in the United States. If I were guessing, I hadn't seen this chart before, I would imagine it. Now let's draw on the real shape. Again, number was as much about storytelling as it was about supply and demand. We all accepted way higher prices because of these signs, because of all of this news. In fact, thanks to COVID, we were kind of used to hearing about supply chains and paying higher prices and waiting longer because of something that's out of our control. This is the driver of inflation, right? But what this story tells is that there's a company that, by the way, controls 25% of the market. They're a huge player, the largest player by far in the egg economy, that has the ability to raise prices even when they don't need to increase costs. And that company, by the way, if you chart how many eggs they were making, during the crisis, they were actually making more eggs and just selling them at a way higher price. So of course their profits tripled. Of course their shareholders made off with huge dividends. You can read a lot more about this in a couple really good reports that were very helpful for our reporting, one of which concludes that corporations have used this outbreak, the avian flu, as a smokescreen for raising prices beyond what was necessary to cover any rising costs. This is the
Boom. So they're just using it as a smokescreen, y'all. And this is nothing new for Esau Edom. This is how he gets down. He's simply a liar. He's simply a liar. So what I'm going to show right here is he's going to give off a list of companies. Because you have there's only a handful of companies that are running everything in the world. They just have a whole bunch of little subsidiaries, right? Walmart owns a bunch of shit. It just might not be named Walmart, right? Sam's Club is a subsidiary. Esau Edom has a monopoly on everything, right? All he does is change the name of shit, and your pocket is still bleeding and hurting, while his pocket is getting knotted up and swollen. Absolutely diabolical.
That is supposed to be a competitive space where all the firms compete for customers by lowering their prices as much as they possibly can. But our modern food system has become more and more consolidated. 4 firms handle 85% of all beef processing in the US. 3 companies control 78% of all pasta. 2 firms own 70% of the canned tuna industry. 1 company dominates seed genetics.
Look at that, Monsanto, y'all. I know it might be hard to see. I'll turn the phone this way. Monsanto owns the majority of, all the crops in the country. Look at that, 2 companies. So they have the power to do this, and there's not much we can do about it. We literally need Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai for salvation to be redeemed up out of here. We're literally in a situation, y'all, to where we're completely gobbled up by this nigga. We're in Esau Edom's hands. We're not going to be able to get out of this by any natural carnal means, right? And now Esau Edom, he's going to pay for this dearly. But oldie but goodie. It says, woe to them, y'all. Remember that at the top of this verse. Woe to them. Esau, Edom, has destruction coming to him for these things. They brag and they boast in it, right? To them, it's their glory. But the scriptures say, woe to these assholes. Destruction. God damn it. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. These companies, and which, the elites, they have all their different families which are in charge of the many different sectors of life, right? You have particular elite families control the food, particular elite families in control of the, buildings, vehicles, all that good stuff. Money, right? Change their last names. They live in different parts of the world. But we all know that, it's Esau, Edom, mainly the Amalekite demonic families. They have the power to do these things in the world. At the snap of a thumb, they can lie, use, like he said, a smoke screen. But we know at the end of the day, these fuckers have woe coming to them, destruction. So, hey, this shit sucks. It's a lot to deal with, but it's alright. It's almost over. Just keeping you boys informed. Hey, with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, B'Hashem, Yahushai, B'Hashem, or Chakorash, to honors to the elders and apostles of your millstone, peace, blessings, and salutations to all the elect Akim, Wa'akwat, learning, teaching of truth and sincerity, Shalom.